Okay, so for the vertical translation, and we learned that when I have y equals x squared plus something, right? That something causes a vertical translation up and down, and it's called a vertical translation. Now, what happened if that number is inside the bracket with the x? Okay, so we're going to call this letter h. Okay, so what I have here is x minus h squared. So you see that this number is going to be with the x inside the bracket. So because that's with the x, that's going to be a x translation, which is called a horizontal translation, because it is located inside the bracket with the x. Now let's see with Desmos, okay? Because we're going to explore it with Desmos and see what happened, okay? And then we're going to discuss it after.
Would I be able to use Desmos on this?
No. But you can use it to check your work on, okay? All right, so here's what I have. Oops, I shouldn't have erased this. So what was your y equals? Yeah, bracket x minus 2, close bracket, square. Okay, let me hide this. I'm hearing your thoughts. Keep asking the questions.
I know why.
Keep asking the questions.
Because so technically it would turn to a positive.
Good guess, but no, that's not why. I'm gonna ask you. Okay, so I know where your thoughts are coming from. Your thoughts are like, why is it to the right, not to the left, even though I have a negative 2? Yeah. Can I ask you a question? What was your formula? What did I say? X what? X minus h. So in order for me to get a negative, what's my h value? In order for me to get a negative 2 here, what would my h value be? H is 2, right? Technically, h here is 2. It's a positive 2. Because the formula is x minus h squared, right? So the formula already has that negative. So the h value, the value for h is a plus 2. So if the value of h was a negative, which means moving to the left, then you're going to see it as x plus 2. That means h is equal to negative 2, which means moves to the left. Okay, I'm going to go back and explain. My formula is x, eyes on the board. My formula is x, just 1 second. I'll give you time to explain it after, okay? My formula is x minus h squared, okay? If your h value is plus 2, your h is positive 2, okay? I'm telling you, your h is positive 2. You're going to place it here, yes? So if I place it here, that's going to be y equals x minus 2 squared, yes? Because if you're replacing h with a 2, right? Yeah. H is what? What's the value of h? H is 2. H is a positive 2. When I replace it in, it's going to become x minus 2. Yes?
Why? Why does it turn into a minus 2?
Because it's already a minus in there. The formula is x minus h.
That's the original one. So
That's just what the formula is.
That's what the formula is.
Yeah, I get it.
Right? Because the formula is a negative, the formula is a minus, If I plug in a positive value, it's going to stay a minus. Right? So if I say h is 10, then the formula would be y equals x minus 10 squared. It's going to look minus to you, but actually it moved 10 to the right because h is a positive value. Okay? Now what if h was negative? So let's say if h is negative 5, what would your formula be? Y equals what? X plus 5 squared. Why plus? Because it's x minus 5, right? And then instead of having two minuses, I write it as a plus. So for the horizontal translation, it's opposite to what you see because the formula is actually a negative in there. Okay? So if I just want to go back here, and before I graph it, I look at this, right? This is going to move, x minus 2 is going to move to the right. X minus 4 is going to move to the right. X plus 1 is going to move to the left. X plus 3 is going to move to the left. All right, so it's just whatever inside with the x. And the reason for that is because if you look here, the formula is already a negative, okay, which affecting what you see. And that's why I say to determine the value of h, remove it from the bracket by setting the expression equal to 0 and solving. Technically, what they're saying here is you have x minus 2, set it equal to 0, bring the 2 over, so x becomes equals to 2. Okay? That's what they're saying. Okay? So it's opposite to what you see. Let me go back here. So what was my next
X minus 4. Y equals minus 4.
So y equals bracket x minus 4 squared. Okay? So can you guys tell me what the vertex is?
X equal 0, 4 0.
4, 0, right? And for this one, 2, 0. Okay? So what is it affecting? What part of the vertex is h affecting? X. It's affecting the x part. You see how it's the x that's 2. Okay? If my next one is y equals what? Bracket x plus 1. So you see that the blue one has moved to the left 1, and now my vertex is negative 1, 0. Okay? All right. So let's write this down. So the value of h. So what's the value of h? 2. Remember, it's not what you see. It's the opposite. Only for that. Direction of opening, they were all up, yes? What was the vertex? 2, 0. What was the axis of symmetry? What do I write? Okay, and then we said that's a horizontal translation. Vertical means up and down. This is horizontal, left and right. I'm going to use HT from now on. 2 units to the right. I'm just going to write 2 and 3. What's the value for h for the second one? Y equals x minus 4 squared. 4, direction of opening. Vertex. Axis of symmetry. And horizontal translation. What? Okay. H value for the next one. -1. Direction of opening. Vertex. Axis of symmetry. And it's a horizontal translation, 1 unit left. And the next one is going to be -3, the h value, opening up, -3, 0. Okay, so how does the value of h affect the basic parabola? When h is greater than 0, so when h is positive, so 2 and 4, where did it go? To the right. How would it look like in the... It will look like this in the function, right? When h is less than 0, the parabola shift to the left, and it's gonna look like this. Yes. What is it? No, this is gonna be, this is K. We'll talk about it, okay? Just give me a minute. Let me finish filling this up, and then we'll do that together. All right? Okay. So the value of h describes the horizontal translation. And it provides the value of the x value of vertex and is the axis of symmetry. Good. All right. So, I mean, what we have done so far, we have done 3 different transformations. We've done the A, we have done the H, and the K. Now, most of the time, you're not going to see them separately, right? You're going to have a combo, right? You can have A, H, and K all together.
You're going to make us 8 combos.
Yes. Sorry. No more combos. You might have 2. You might have all 3 of them. Okay? Now, how is it going to look like in the equation? So here's how that's going to look like. Be y equal to a bracket x minus h squared plus k. Okay? So if you have a number outside the bracket at the beginning, that's going to be your a value. That's one example. Okay? So you see that this is your A value. This is your H value, which is what? This is your K value. Okay? Now A does what? What does A do to your graph? Vertical compression or stretch. What does H do to your graph? Horizontal, right and right, left and right. K? So you might have 3 transformations altogether. Okay? You might have 4 if you have a reflection, if I added a negative here. That's the most. Okay? Now, this form is called the, does anyone know what it's called? What's the name of it? No. It is. Guess why? What can you find from this form? The vertex. What is the vertex here?
It would be positive
1 and 3, yeah? That's your vertex, yeah? So it's called the vertex form because the thing that you can find from this form is your vertex. Without even doing any math, looking at it, remember H is the xy of the vertex, K is the y value of the vertex. They're right here. That's why this form, remember there's 3 forms that we do, this form is called the vertex form because I can find the vertex from it. Okay. Let's look at our examples. Now I just gave you all of it together. What's my example here? Y equals x plus 2 squared minus 3. Good. So you guys found the vertex, -2, -3. But you have to state the transformation for me. What do we have? Uh-huh. Yeah? Good. Good. H is this, right? It's a -2. So I have a horizontal translation, 2 units to the left. Good. What else do I have? Vertical translation.
3 units down.
Okay, that's all the transformation I have, yes? Good. When I ask you what are the transformation, this is what I want you to list for me. Now, in order for you to graph, what do you need? Vertex and? What? Step pattern. Okay? What's my vertex? Remember that, I'm just going to go back here, and I'm going to tell you that the vertex is H, comma, K. I don't know if you remember, guys, when we did the different properties yesterday, and I said I'm going to use letter, and then you'll know why I'm using these letters later. This is why I used H and K, because in the formula, they're H and K. Okay? So, what's your vertex here? -2, because it's opposite to what you see, and -3. Good. What's my step pattern? 1, 3, 5. It's not, there is no A value to affect it, right? So my step pattern is 1, 3, 5. Okay. So it's at -2, -3. So I'm going to do this.
The number 2 doesn't suffer any changes. You just take it out from this formula and that's it.
This one?
Yes.
It's just, what do you mean? It's a horizontal translation 2 units to the left.
Okay.
And then when you do the when you state the vertex, it's opposite to the 2, so it's negative 2. Yeah. Okay, so my vertex is negative 2, negative 3. Locating your vertex is very important. If you don't know your Cartesian plane, you're going to be in trouble. Okay, so negative 2 is on the x. Negative 3, that means I have to go down 3 to the y, so that's where my vertex is. You guys agree with that? Then what do I do? What do I have to go? Where do I have to go? Okay, so go up 1 over 1. Yeah. Then go up 3. 1, 2, 3 over 1. 1, 2, 3 over 1. I have room for the next one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, over 1. You see, I don't end my graph. I draw arrows at the end because that's continuous. It's going to keep going.